so long? Where you been for so long? I went to places unknown, rented the room and I forgot my pen, shut my twin, and I had to find the feeling again.
It's too late now, buddy. This is it.
No turning back, eh?
No turning back.
All I need is a crew. Well, they can in our days, we will live like our ghosts will live. Pigeon glass at the cornfield grows in folding clothes. Like stubborn boys across.
Want to stay to jail? They can go on video forever? Huh? No. You can. Congratulations.
I can picture my mother and father sitting watching the evening news and seeing their son clinging to life on a capsized kayak, just about to be plucked with the waters of Lake Huron by helicopter.
Just allow says amen. We won't hear anything. The 10-car train will take that word, that fledgling bird, and the falling house across the way. It'll keep everything.
Congratulations.
That's all? You don't got anything more? Here's your chance to say what's on your mind.
Bruce had a good speech.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
And our shame. And we'll undress beside the ashes of the fire. Both are
You have to speak a little louder.
All the best on your honeymoon, and get busy. Maybe if she gets grandchildren, that means I get to be an uncle.
That's right.
There you go.
So you looking forward to that?
Start working on the children. That's a good one. Thanks, Jessica.
And you could excuse the French slang because I can't get rid of it. 52 years and I still have it. Yeah, I can. And I gotta put the mic lower because I'm not all that tall. A couple of years ago, we were watching the movie Father of the Bride with Steve Martin, and I cried my eyes out. It was pitiful. Somebody asked me to tell you people a joke. The Jillian will be pleased to know that I'm not going to tell you it at this time. The joke's about a horse, a chicken, and a Mercedes.
Oh, no.
Now, I'm not going to say it, Joe. 2 reasons. One is, everybody that pretty well knows me, they've already heard it. And the second one is, anybody here, probably somebody here owns a Mercedes, and I wouldn't want to make them feel uncomfortable on this day.
When we got married, the only thing that we agreed on was that we weren't going to have any kids. Well, we really screwed up on that one. I think kids add a complete different dimension to your life. They add worry, stress, and cost. If he had been our first child, he would have been an only child.
Car, and Jillian was the first one to take the car out and drive a bunch of girls together. And we were visiting one of our friends in Arcadia, who happened to live around the corner, and it was a little bit scary backing out of the driveway because you never knew how quickly something was going to come around the corner. And so Jillian, the slightly anxious person that she is, on the first time driving her car, or her father's car, I should say, backed out of the driveway very, very slowly, and then just had an instant panic as soon as we got on the road. And I was sitting in the front seat, and I was like, Jillian, cut the wheel, you know, we have to turn and get on the road. And she's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then we actually drove very slowly across the road and into the ditch on the opposite. Girls are getting the full story now. So Jillian has always been one of my very close friends because she's so kind and compassionate. She's one of the most non-judgmental people I've ever met. She's such a sociable person, she can just walk into a room full of strangers and instantly become friends with anybody. She can walk into a room full of children and they just immediately flock to her because of her personality, which I think probably means she's very fertile. Said, we've been through so much this year together, and I want to thank you for making each moment of my life a little more interesting and exciting. There's nobody I would rather have sat next to in all of my classes, especially math, because instead I was next to this guy and he just farted while I was writing. I also helped him to feel comfortable with his transition into university during Frosh Week by way of waking him up at 4 a.m., feeding him tequila shots, drawing on his face with permanent marker, and duct taping him to the wall. I'm such a good sister. We were apparently in the same Spanish class at Acadia. Jill had to point this out to me, but in my defense, Jill, I never really went to that class. So it's Halloween, and after the successful completion of Kirk's local yokel costume by way of a hand-cut mullet, courtesy of yours truly, and a few hours at a friend's party, we were off to the Axe, which is the university pub, for those of you who don't know. Kirk said he had to go home and change first, so I was on my own. And I couldn't figure out why he needed to change, because everybody wears their costume to the bar on Halloween. But he was having none of that. Turns out, there's this girl at the bar that he wants to impress. And for some reason, he didn't think that a mullet, a potbelly, and summer teeth would do the job. Especially considering that this girl was dressed as Britney Spears. Pre-meltdown Britney, of course, otherwise So anyway, her friends, they're dancing for a little while, and her and her friends go to powder their noses, and Kirk gets a little concerned, and he asks me to find out what they're talking about, and if they're talking about him, so I go, and of course they're talking about him. And I'd had a few beers, so I decided I was going to play matchmaker. So I go up to Jill and I say, hey you should go pick up my brother. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we're all here.
And to such a good guy, Kirk, stand up, Kirk. Honestly, I don't know, folks. I don't know if my sister was a racist, but she couldn't have picked a whiter one, eh? Hit me in the nose a little bit. I mean, Jillian may have an obsession with the movie Bring It On, an unhealthy attachment to her dog, and a horrible, god-awful taste in music. But so does Kirk.
Like a moon that's full, across a sea of foam.